Hi, welcome to CHeri Knits. I love knitting. No, I really, really, really love knitting, and I want you to love it too. Today I'm going to show you how to pick up stitches and garter stitch. It's easy and fun. Let's get started.
Okay, let's take a look at picking up stitches, and we're going to look at garter stitch today. How to pick up stitches along the top edge, either the bound off edge or possibly your cast on edge, and also how to pick up stitches along the side. Let's start on the side of your piece. Now, often you'll be picking up stitches along the rows here. If you're creating a sweater and you need to do a button band, then you would pick up stitches along the edge. So it's really important in that situation to make sure you come all the way down and get the very corner spot. So you don't want a button band that starts up here, unless you do and your pattern tells you to do that. But typically you want to pick up like the whole thing. So you want to go all the way down and grab that corner spot. And then I'm going to attach the yarn. I like to leave 6 to 8 inches of tail to weave in later. You don't want to start and have just a tiny little tail because it will come out. So leave yourself a good tail to weave in later. I anchor the tail in my left hand, and with my right hand, I'm going to knit that stitch. So this was the pickup, and here is the knit stitch. And you'll notice I'm using my index finger of my left hand, not only to control or hold on to the tail, but also to help me get that yarn pulled through. So what I'm doing here, there's several ways to pick up stitches in garter stitch. You can try to go right into the middle of the ridge that you see, the garter ridge, but I like to go in the valleys in between, picking up a full stitch, wrapping, pulling it through. So I'm going to skip the ridge and I'm going to go in that space in between the ridges. Don't grab just one strand. Make sure you get that whole stitch, pick up, and knit it through. Again, using the index finger on your left hand to help you with that. Now I can let the tail go because I've got a couple stitches there. It's not going to pull through, and go to the next space between the ridge, pick up, knit it through, skip the ridge, pick up in the space after the ridge, and knit it through. So this is picking up and knitting along the side edge in garter stitch. Pick up, wrap, knit it through. Now let's take a look at what to do on the bound off or cast on edge. So when you look, let's take a look at the bound off edge. When you look here, you'll see these spaces where you bound off, where you made the stitches lie down in your knitting. And so you're going to come to this very, very first one. Again, anchor the yarn in your left hand, the tail, wrap, and knit it through. Go ahead and just pick up that bound off stitch, wrap, and bring it through. Not just one strand, but both strands of that bound off stitch, wrap, and bring it through. And what it's going to do is leave a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a seam on the inside, which is fine. It's going to be on the inside. And normally it would be the same color. We're using a different color for this just so you can see what's happening. But go right in between and grab both strands of that bound off stitch and pull it through. Now, if your bind off is really tight or you're having a hard time getting your stitch under there and getting that yarn through, you can do a little bit of a cheat, and instead of looking at these bound off stitches, you can go under and look at the stitch below. So you would go right, see that V right there? Looks like a V. That's a stitch. So go right in the middle of the V and go back and knit it through. That could be a little bit easier. So here's the next V right here. So I want to go front to back through the center of the V. I'm still getting that stitch that's lying down, but I'm getting an extra little bit when I do it this way, but it could prove to be easier for you. So again, right through the center of that stitch, wrap, bring it through, and kind of lift that up and look right through the center of that stitch, wrap and bring it through. And when you look at the back, what's going to be the seam on the inside, this is a little bit thicker here where I dip down than this, but it might be easier for you to do, or you might just like the way it looks on the outside better because you actually went an extra row in. Either way is fine. Try it. Whatever's easiest for you is what you should do.
I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, if you like these YouTube videos, check out my courses. The link is below for more extensive class time with me. Thanks. YouTube videos, check out my courses for more information. No,
Go ahead. Just here we go.
I hope this was helpful. Okay, keep going.